Hello, my friend, and welcome to Pro Wrestling Daily. My name is Aaron Machbitz. I can guarantee you that every single professional wrestling fan and professional wrestler can pinpoint the time where they fell in love with professional wrestling and a time that professional wrestling saved their life. Every wrestler and every fan has that story, and I think the even more important one, right, is the one where professional wrestling saved our lives, where it drew us out of a dark moment. It was the only thing we felt connected to. It was the only sense of community that we had, especially potentially, growing up where maybe some of us were bullied or we didn't have a lot of friends. And then we found professional wrestling and we found that community and we found that sense of joy and that sense of love. And then some of us kept that dream alive and became professional wrestlers. Amazing. And the other side, maybe even more importantly, some of us kept that dream alive and became lifelong professional wrestling fans, both equally important to the overall, fabric of the business. But there is a power, there is a deep, deep power in professional wrestling, or just in general in finding something that you love, in finding a sense of community in something, in relationships. I'm sure there are tons and tons of people now through the internet wrestling community who have met great people and great friends and who have built a sense of community. Yes, there is a toxic, down and dark side to the internet wrestling community, just like there's pros and cons of literally everything that exists in the world. There's a vice of excess and a vice of deficiency, but there also lives this medium point where there's beauty in it, where there is connection and community. And I think that's the power of professional wrestling, because it still is a very niche community. Right? Yes, it's global. Yes, WWE is on Netflix. Yes, more people are thinking about wrestling and watching wrestling and understanding wrestling, and it's on ESPN. But overall, this type of sports entertainment is still very niche. Some people think it's weird. Some people think it's dumb. And so we have to stick together as a professional wrestling community. And like I said, almost every single wrestler and fan can pinpoint an exact moment where the power of professional wrestling saved their life. Now, I'm going to give a very, very brief personal story about how professional wrestling saved my life. This is a super condensed version of this story, but I feel like it's really important to share because it stamps home, the point that I'm trying to make about the power of professional wrestling. And then maybe you will feel inclined to share your story about how professional wrestling saved your life. And then we can actually uplift the powerful, good stories that have come out of the professional wrestling community. So all the way back into 2018, when I was a full-time independent professional wrestler, I was living with Wheeler Yuta at the time. Yes, AEW star Wheeler Yuta. We were roommates in Philadelphia, both trying to be independent professional wrestlers, make a living being professional wrestlers. And then it comes down to September 3rd, 2018. I lost my big sister Rachel to suicide. She died by suicide. And Yuta was the first person who was there for me, was the first person I talked to about, yes, because we were living together, but also because we had developed a really, really close relationship. Still to this day, in 2025, Yuta is one of my best friends. He was a groomsman at my wedding, and I love him dearly. And this is one of the reasons why we got so much closer, is because of this moment and the way he stepped up for me in a huge way. And so September 3rd, I lose my big sister Rachel to suicide. And at that time, I flew back home to Dallas for funeral arrangements to be with my family, all of that stuff. And the only thing really that kept me going, that kept me in the gym or eating okay or moving around or thinking about my future in a bright way, was that on September 30th, I believe that was the date of the same month and the same year, I had my debut match at Beyond Wrestling against Wheeler Yuta. Now, if I didn't have that match scheduled, or if I didn't have professional wrestling to keep me going, or if I didn't have Yuta in my corner, or some of the other people who were in my corner from the professional wrestling space, or if I didn't have that match that I've been working really hard for to get in that match, I've been working really hard to debut for Beyond Wrestling. If I didn't have that specific thing to look forward to, that match scheduled, that graphic out on the internet, I don't know where I would be. I don't know what sort of foot I would have been able to put in front of the other. The darkness was very dark, as you can imagine if you've lost someone. And that match against that specific person was the two things I needed to come together to keep me going, to keep me moving, to keep me headed in the right direction. And that's a clear example of professional wrestling saving my life. Now, I flew home at the end of the month. Yuta and I had this brilliant, what I thought was brilliant match at Beyond Wrestling. I believe there are still some clips of it on YouTube if you really want to go check it out. It's from 2018. And then after the match, after the emotions of all the emotions of actually wrestling, because, wrestling is driven on emotion and narrative, and we told a pretty good story in the ring, and the story of out of the ring, which some people in the audience might have known. Yuta and I went to the back, went outside, and we cried together. We cried out of sadness, we cried out of joy, we cried out of friendship, we cried out of love. And that's a beautiful, beautiful thing that has come out of professional wrestling. And again, my relationship still stands with Utes, his groomsman in my wedding, and I couldn't be more proud or more happy to be his friend and to see where he is with his professional wrestling career at AEW, doing incredible things. But I know there's so many wrestlers and so many fans who have similar stories in regards to where professional wrestling saved their life, where professional wrestling kept them going. And I think we need to share them. I think we need to share all of them. And so if you feel so inclined after watching this to share your story of the power of professional wrestling, of how professional wrestling saved your life, please share it. I'd absolutely love to hear it in the comments down below. Please, if I can help you share it in any way, let me know. Share it in the comments down below. Let's grow this positivity. Let's grow this power of professional wrestling together, because that's where it's at. That's the real community that we can build here in professional wrestling. And so please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Lots of love. Cheers.